Good morning and welcome to everyone. This is a special press brief facilitated by the Royal Grenada Police Force. I am your host, Woman Corporal Kadina Douglas McLean. I am joined by Assistant Commissioner of Police, Mr. Vanny Cohen. He has responsibility for crime within the organization, and newly assigned Head of the Criminal Investigations Department, Superintendent Pierre. This very critical press brief will provide information on recent murder cases and some successes with investigations in some of these matters. Without any further ado, I now invite ACP Cohen to present.
Thank you very much, Corporal Douglas McLean, and good morning to you members of the media, good morning to the public, whether you're viewing and listening to us locally or in the diaspora. We just wish to bring some information to your attention, as we always promise to do and deliver on these promises. I'm going to get straight into it. Yesterday, September the 11th, Grenada recorded its 17th homicide for the year and its 15th criminal homicide for 2023. To date, we have solved 11 of the 15 criminal homicides, and we continue to work assiduously to bring closure to those that are outstanding. Recognizing the fact that we have been experiencing unprecedented gun crimes and a rising murder rate, we have strengthened our criminal investigations department at different levels to ensure that we get ahead of the criminal activities in the country and maintain the peace and tranquility that we are known for. Effective Monday, the 4th of September 2023, Superintendent Pierre, who is one of the most senior superintendents within the Royal Grenada Police Force, with former experiences in investigation, was brought back as head of the criminal investigation department. This decision freed up other senior investigators to focus primarily on the unsolved murders and address the issues of unlicensed firearms in the country. Mr. Pierre is sitting to my left. This decision has immediately yielded successes and gave us an advantage in the fight against criminal activities. I now wish to announce to the public that the Criminal Investigations Department has arrested and charged Mr. Kino Coutin, 29 years old, shopkeeper of Grandans, St. George's, for the shooting death that occurred in St. Paul's on Saturday last. Also, and more importantly, Mr. Shaka Crooney, 26 years of age, of Telescope St. Andrew, was arrested and charged for the gruesome death of school teacher Kingdom Buckley at Telescope earlier this year. Both defendants will make their court appearance later this week. These successes were, however, overshadowed by the shooting death yesterday, September the 11th, 2023, of Mr. Dexter Chance, who was allegedly gunned down in the community of Woburn by unknown assailants. The RGPF has commenced an immediate investigation into the death and has heightened our investigative focus on solving all our outstanding murders. Additionally, we are investigating the occurrence of a missing person who is a visitor to our shores. Mr. Liam Fisher, a medical student at the St. George's University, was not seen or heard from since Saturday after attending an event at Marion. Early this morning, law enforcement officers and members of the SGU community have descended on the community of Marion, where an extensive search is currently underway with the hope of finding Mr. Fisher. Anyone with information about the whereabouts of this individual is asked to contact the Criminal Investigations Department on 440-3921, South St. George Police Station at 444-4454, the Emergency Dispatch Unit at 911, or the nearest police station. Your information will be treated with the strictest of confidence. More detailed information, description, and the identity of Mr. Fisher will be made available immediately after this press briefing. We take this opportunity to thank you, members of the media and the public, for showing confidence in the ability of the RGPF to solve our crimes, and to others for providing information that assisted us one way or the other. The peace, safety, and security of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pittimatnik must be the shared responsibility of all Grenadians working together to rid our island of these scourges of crimes and deviant and antisocial behaviors that challenge and threaten our way of life and have the potential to affect our economic progress as a country. Thank you, and I await your questions.
Thank you very much, ACP Cohen. At this time, I invite Superintendent Pierre to present.
Good morning, and thank you. And let me say thanks and recognize the confidence placed in me by the commander of the RGPF to select me as the commander of the Criminal Investigations Department, Criminal Records Office, the Special Victim Unit, and the Digital Forensic Unit of the RGPF. It is indeed a welcome privilege, and I expect to deliver on the expectations so needed at this juncture. I embrace the confidence and the support already evident by the members and staff of the department, and I look forward to the support of the general public as we continue to ensure that the battle is not lost with respect to crime fighting. We have considered some strategies that will be rolling off in the very near future, and so we will be coming back to the general public with our plans and strategies succinct to what we expect the public to contribute towards this end. I just want to add that with respect to the incident at St. Paul's, one firearm was recovered during the investigation. This will be part of the continued investigations into this particular case. And I just want to endorse the sentiments of ACP Vanny Cowan in encouraging the continued support of the general public in bringing these matters to a conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Superintendent Pierre. A lot of information we've received, and so I anticipate that we have so much questions as well from members of the media. So at this point, we invite questions from members of the media.
Are we going by raise of hands or some sort of...
Okay, so Callistra Farrier, we acknowledge your presence. Can you proceed?
Congratulations, Superintendent Pierre. There's been a lot written about this move to CID, so congratulations on that. My question has to do with the Dexter Chance issue. We saw the incident over Carnival that newspaper reports out of Trinidad seem to link to some sort of cross-border criminal activity, and now this. Are we concerned that Grenada is getting into the middle of cross-border criminal activities, given what we know of Mr. Chance?
With respect to the shooting incident yesterday at Woburn, and with respect to your inquiry, let me say that because Grenada is a porous country, we have porous borders, one can never eliminate the possibilities and the movements of persons connected to the underworld. And as such, we will always up our guard, which we will be looking at with respect to cross-border criminality. With respect to this particular case, we continue our investigations, and we will determine whether where the assailants originated from. But our investigations will tell us, will reveal the information subsequent. I cannot at this stage venture to see whether it is local or regional, but it is a concern for us where the criminality is imported. Like these firearms are imported, so it would be a concern for us.
Are we also concerned about the cross-border, but there seems to be concern about drugs and gangs developing in Grenada as well. Is that one of the issues that you would put as a priority area as you take over the department?
One of the things that we'll be engaging, I've already spoken with my drug squad counterpart with respect to inter-agency operability. So we'll be looking at what we can do in order to gel the intelligence and our efforts in going forward. We do not want to work in isolation of each other. Only yesterday, we can recall, yesterday being 9/11. And coming out of 9/11, we had, they recognized the need for interagency collaboration and cooperation. So in going forward, we will be upping our game with respect to shared intelligence and shared effort to deal with the possibility of the cross-border criminality.
Thank you, Ms. Farrier.
No, I'm sorry, but indulge me, please, Corporal. The issue in 2019, Mr. Chance was a suspect in what was hailed as one of the biggest drug busts, I think $1 million street value of drugs. Can I get an update on what happened with that case? And I know it's early in the investigation. I appreciate that, Superintendent Pierre, but
yes.
Anything that you can tell us about Mr. Chance?
So,
and what happened to that case?
Yeah, this is a current active case, and as such, it will be foolhardy of me to venture into any area that may compromise the present investigations. I will have to come back to you subsequent with respect to your area of concern.
Thank you very much, Ms. Farrier. We have MTV. Kindly proceed.
No response on the audio.
MTV, are you hearing me? GBN, kindly proceed with your question.
Yes, good morning to everybody on the head table. I'm seeking an update on the incident with Minister Ron Redhead, the carriacou homicide, and the Mount Edmund homicide. That's my first question. And the second question is there any change in the role and responsibility of the Community Relations Department, as it's been proven almost impossible for journalists to get information from that department?
Thank you very much for your question. I am going to take one or two, and the rest of the panel may wish to provide answers to the others. As it relates to the carriacou investigation, the suspect in this matter is still at large. We have not been able to arrest him. This matter, as far as RGPF is concerned, is a closed matter in that our investigation have revealed a particular suspect in this matter. It's just that we're not able to arrest the suspect at this point as we speak. You did ask about an incident with Mr. Ron Redhead. I do not have any details of that incident, and unfortunately I'm unable to provide the clarity that you seek. The other matter that you spoke of is the matter of the shooting over the carnival period at Mount Edmund. As you know, we have made some arrests in this matter. There's still a large bit of information still to be done. We continue in investigation. We are not satisfied that all of the participants in this crime has yet been brought to justice or have been arrested and charged, and so we continue to work this matter. Investigation is ongoing, and we will not rest until we get to the bottom of not only this, but all of the outstanding matters that we are currently investigating. I hope I answered your question to your satisfaction.
John T. Case.
That matter too, that investigation is opened. I am cautiously optimistic in this matter. You notice there is a smile on my face. I can't say what you probably want me to say, but I would just say that I am very hopeful that we will be able to resolve this matter sometime in the future.
Thank you, Rena. Do you have any additional questions?
I did ask a question regarding the Community Relations Department.
Yes.
Well, I think I'm best placed to answer that question as the last head of the Community Relations Department and the executive officer under whom this department comes. It's unfortunate that we have to be addressing in the public that issue. I would have preferred some written communication or phone call so that we could have addressed this issue outside of the public domain. But if there seems to be a problem of communication, is one that I would more than happily like to address with you and other members of the public who think that they are experiencing the same difficulty. I don't think this platform might be the best place to do that. But I give you the assurance that if you're not satisfied, there are ways and means we can resolve that and resolve that we need to.
Thank you, GBN. MTV, do you wish to proceed at this point?
Hi, good morning. Good morning to the head table. My question is to Van Kerwin. We're just seeking an update on the Lansing shooting which occurred on July 12th. If you can speak to that a little bit, please. Thank you.
What I can say in this matter, the Lansing matter, is that that file has been submitted to the Director of Public Prosecution for his legal opinion. We have not yet settled on this matter. When we do, we will come back to the public and provide an update as to where we are with this matter.
Thank you.
Do you have any additional questions, MTV?
Not at this time.
Great. Does any other member of the media have a question they wish to pose at this time?
Good morning. My name is Linda Stricker. Can I go ahead?
Yes, you can proceed, Ms. Straker.
Good morning to all of the head table.
Good morning.
My question is actually follow-up from what was told to us a few minutes ago. My first follow-up is it was said that the St. Paul's incident, there was a firearm recovered. Can we know whether or not this was a legal or illegal firearm?
So with respect to the incident at St. Paul's, we'll be continuing our investigation. This is early moments. We'll be investigating further the originality and so on of this particular firearm as we conclude our investigations. But this is early moments.
So a determination is not yet made as to whether it was legal or illegal?
Not yet made.
Yeah. My other question, we are in September. What's the number of homicide we have recorded for the year so far?
Homicide is 17.
This is our 17th homicide. Right. My other follow-up question is regarding the St. Andrew arrest. Can you tell us whether or not that was an arrest determined following a tip from the public, or it was strictly based on police investigation? And who is this person? Can you tell us some more about that person and the relationship, if possible, to the gentleman who deceased?
Ms. Raker, we do not want to prejudice whatever trial that is likely to happen in this matter. So delving into the evidential nature of the case is not something that we want to do at this stage. But what I would hasten to say is that very seldom police solve matters by themselves. The assistance of the public have always been part of what we do. We continue to encourage it. We look forward to it, and we continue to extend our partnership with members of the public. Almost every crime that we have solved, there will be or some part of public participation. I do not and will not say on this platform how much the public contributed or in what way they have contributed, but I will say that there have been public participation in almost every crime that we solve.
Thank you, Ms.
I know there are others who have the answer, but my final question for now is, with regard to we have seen this upswing in gun-related violence, and then a lot of that recent deaths are linked to gun-related homicides. what is the police strategy now in dealing with gun incidents in Grenada?
I'll take this question. Ms. Reka, you would appreciate that, you know, RGPF will not come and see what our strategy is. But what I can tell you, with the advent of Mr. Pierre coming back into CID as head, yes, there have been some new strategizing. There have been some initiatives that we have conceptualized and put in place. I don't think we want to say this to the public. We want to be able to arrest the illegal gun situation that we're seeing, and putting our strategy out there is just educating the criminals as to how to go around what we intend to do. So I don't think this is the place that we want to discuss this.
I yield to my other colleagues. I do have more if the opportunity to come back. Gladly accept.
Very well. I now invite Mr. Johnson to proceed.
Good morning. And let me also commend Mr. Pierre on his new portfolio and position and so on. I wish you all the best. Mr. Cohen, I just want to ask though, I know community policing was one of the means used to engage or to access information related to police solving crimes and so on. That has not been, I don't know to what extent it's been followed through now. What kind of support is getting from the general public with respect to crime solving, and how much of that is linked to community policing in Grenada?
Thanks for your question, Mr. Johnson. Community policing is alive and well. I agree that we have had, you know, some slowing down of the process, but in recent times we have picked it back up. We are in communities. We are doing quite a lot of community walkthroughs, community engagement. This is high on our priority list, and because of what we have been doing with the community, we are realizing, you know, more support and more assistance is coming from the community because of the engagements that we are having. We have started a series of town hall meetings in communities across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. This is one of our initiative, our crime fighting initiative to mitigate, to reduce, to prevent crime from being committed, to work closer with our different communities so that we become one. We have recognized a long time ago that law enforcement duties are not carried for the RGPF solely. And that is why in my presentation I said there must be shared responsibility. We must be able to work collectively, the police and the community, for what we desire Grenada to be. There are too much people on the sidelines saying what are they doing rather than saying what can we do together. And what we are pushing now is collective responsibility, shared responsibility, and yes, we are back into the community, building the bridges that have since broken down, you know, doing the renovations that need to be done in terms of the relationship. And to answer the latter part of your question, the results is awesome, tremendous, and we thank the public for the role that they have been playing in ensuring that their own safety and security is being dealt with by their participation with what the RGPF is doing.
And just as a follow-up, sorry, how much of that is been worked into solving? I know you said that there are certain things that you would love to say in the Jonty case. How much of that is worked into getting to the bottom of what transpired in that particular case? Because I mean, the public is in search of answers, and of course, the justice. The wheels of justice take time and so on. The public is asking questions. How much more time they need to wait to find some answers to that particular case? Because I hope that Mr. Pierre can bring his experience to bear, because as I said, the public is asking for answers in respect to that particular matter. How much more time we have to wait?
What I cannot say to the public is how long they need to wait. They wait as long as the information and the evidence becomes available. See, the information and the evidence have to be sought. And that is why we consistently ask for the cooperation of the public to come to the fore with whatever information and evidence they have. That will determine how quick an arrest is being made. We are working assiduously. We have put in a lot of man hours. We've put in a lot of resources. We have been knocking on doors. We've been speaking to people. We have taken dozens of statements in these matters. We're not yet where we want to be. We're not yet comfortable. And there might be somebody out there who will hold on the last piece of the puzzle that we desire. we implore the public, come forward, provide the information. Mr. Johnson, this could happen tomorrow, it can happen next year. We seeking the evidence. When we find that evidence is when we can make that determination as to when we make that arrest. It has nothing to do with us solely. It has to do with when that information becomes available to us. Those information are being in the domain of people. These people need to come forward. The media need to help us to get the message out. And that's why I consistently says this has to be shared responsibility. It has to be a collective effort of law enforcement and the citizens of Grenada to solve not only the John T. murder. All cases that comes in the fore of the RGPF requires a RGPF community approach to be able to solve them. So if you can help us to get the message out to the community and get the community to come to us with the information as quickly, then your answer can be had. So if you help us, Mr. Johnson, it might happen tomorrow, it might happen next week, it might happen next month, but I am not in a position to say when. So that question I will not be able to answer because I don't know where that last bit of information lies.
Thank you.
There was a call from the opposition leader to engage external assistance. Have you considered that as an option?
I am going to speak not for the RGPF at this point, but I'm going to speak from my own personal position of the ACP responsible for crimes. I don't think that there are anything at this point that is beyond the resources, beyond the experience of our local police officers that we need to go outside. However, having said that, no amount of assistance is too much. But I don't think we are at the point yet where we believe that we need external help in any of the matters that we are currently investigating. Because what is important here is information. And unless you tell me that some foreign expert will be able to get Grenadians to talk to them easier than we will be able to do, well, so be it. But at this point, I don't think we are at the point where we need to go outside. I guess when that time comes, that decision will be made.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ACP Cohen. And I just wish to add that persons can also call in with tips to our hotline at 444-1958. Please feel free to reach us and assist us with the information that we so desire. So at this point, we would go around for another round of questioning. Kalishra, Linda, others who indicated that they had additional questions, you can proceed with your question now.
I would just like to ask, when is the court date for Kutin and Tony?
This we will be rolling out in a release that will happen before the end of the day. These arrests that I spoke about, they're happening now as we speak. And so a court date is not yet determined, but I give you the assurance that they will be brought to court before the end of this week.
Any additional questions?
Yes, and thanks very much.
Okay, Linda, proceed.
Earlier on, mention was made, I think, by Mr. Cohen, of papers being handed over to the handed to the DPP. Can you just enlighten us what papers are presently before the DPP regarding what matter? And with all the persons who have become victim of homicide, can you tell us whether or not all these, the families of the deceased have now are in possession of their bodies? Are there others who have been delayed? And if they have been delayed, what is the reason?
I'll take the first part of your question first. I was asked a specific question as it relates to the shooting incident at Lansepine. And I indicated then that that file has been handed to the DPP for his legal opinion. So that is what I was speaking specifically to. Whether or not all of the bodies are available to the family, I am not in a position as I sit here now to say that. I don't know if Mr. Pierre can add anything to that, but I will not be 100% accurate if I venture an answer to this.
Well, coming from your inquiry, we'll have to make further checks and perhaps get back to you in terms of the release of bodies. But we work on in conjunction with the families in terms of our investigations and release of bodies. I want to hasten here to add my condolences and sympathy to the loved ones, family of the deceased, and sympathize with the families of those individuals who are also part of this these sad issues and crimes. And we must recognize that our actions always, and it will impact not only ourselves, but it impacts our families and our friends. And so I want to also call on persons to think before they act, and let us contribute to the reduction in criminality in our tri-island state.
Thank you, Superintendent Pierre. Ms. Ferrier, you had another question?
Mr. Cohen, the issue of firearms, and I'm not sure this was addressed, I was away for a few minutes. Is there any change in the procedure for issuing firearms? I understand that there's some sort of review process that's going on with current firearm holders as well. Is there any new development there?
To answer your question definitively, Ms. Farah, yes, there are considerations that are being given to how firearms are being made available to members of the public, the application process, what needs and needs not be done. So to answer you, yes, there are discussions that are happening as it relates to processes for issuance of licensed firearms.
And is this because of the number of shootings that we have seen in the country? Is this what has prompted the...
No. Before our gun crimes become that prevalent, there were consideration for reviewing the whole process of firearms licenses. What we're currently seeing is only hastening the process, but the concept was there before the prevalence of firearm becomes an issue.
How many legally issued firearms have been involved in the shooting incidents that we've had this year, last year, and so?
The statistics and data for this question I do not currently have, but I'm sure it can be found.
But do we find that the problem with shootings is more related to illegal firearms? Just an advance.
Most definitely. Most of our shootings are related to illegal firearms. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Did you speak on the John T. Mentor? I'm sorry, I was away for a few minutes. Did you speak on the John T. investigation?
Quite extensively.
Pardon?
Quite extensively.
Oh, well, I will go back and review. All right,
Very
thanks.
well. As we are about to come to a close, do we have any additional question before we put a wrap on the question segment? Ms. Straker?
Yes, thank you and good morning. My question, I know earlier on someone asked about the government minister when you get in charge or not. But can either one of the gentlemen go into traffic matters for us, or is just strictly traffic who can speak? Because I wanted to get some more data on incident that has been happening.
Well, Ms. Straker, I do not know as we sit here we possess the answer to traffic matters that you may wish to ask. So it might be more prudent for me to say to you that probably you may want to have a direct contact with traffic department, and they will be able to provide, an updated data and statistics as it relates to traffic.
Yes.
Okay, I understand. My final question would be, with these murders, homicide cases that are all linked to the use of gun violence and so, what in the future laws do you think need to be amended as part of to assist with investigation and to solving these issues, these homicides that are all linked to gun-related crime? And as part of your investigation, have you able to identify whether or not these homicides are linked to drug-related cases?
Let's clear something up first. All of our homicides are not linked to firearms. I want to make that abundantly clear. In fact, a very small percentage of our homicide that is linked to illegal firearms. So I want that message to resonate with the public, that very few of our homicide cases are gun related. That of out of the way. What should happen, can happen to mitigate? I do not know that we have the answers as we sit here. I think we need to study the problem first. Some people think that changing the laws for increased penalties, but I think there are some data and statistics that shows that increased penalty does not lead to reduction in crime. So I don't think we should be reactive. I think we should study the problem. We should look at the data, follow the statistics where it leads, and make a determination what best addresses the issue of rising gun crime. It shouldn't be rushed to determining whether it's increased penalty, because far too often, Ms. Rika, and I'm going to say this guardedly and respectfully here, far too often we have increased penalties in certain areas, only to have magistrates and judges do not impose increased fines in some of these areas. And that is the reason why, I keep saying that there has to be collective shared responsibility. If the legislatures increase the penalty, then those who exercising that discretion must exercise it with that in mind. But if you're going to increase penalty from 1 year to 2 years, and at the end of the day, the sentence is only going to be 6 months, then what was the point? And that's the reason why I say we need to study this and not just react to what is happening, but have a collective view, getting all the expert and expertise on board, looking at all the data and statistics, and the state determining what best way to respond.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Strika.
Mr. Douglas, can I have my final question, please?
Proceed, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you so much. I just want to share some light, Mr. Douglas, Mr. Corbin, on two matters that I've been following for some time. One is has to do with Kenton Philip, gentleman who died at the hospital and so on. And to date, we have not, and after several inquiries and so on, we speak relative to the result, the cause of death that has not been forthcoming. That's Kenton Philip, who died at the General Hospital. And also Mr. Cuthbert Mark. Can you shed some light on those two matters? Cuthbert Mark was that guy who went missing for some time. Kenton Mark.
I regret to say, Mr. Johnson, that currently I do not have the latest update, but I give you the assurance that after this program, you can reach out to me, and you know how to do that. I will be able to find the information that you seek and be able to make it available to you. I did not prepare for this two incidents that you spoke of, and so I can't recall what the latest issues are on them.
Kenton Philip.
Okay.
Thank you so very much, members of the media, for your questions. I know. 1 minute, please.
Mr. Johnson, with the technology that we all use this day, Mr. Pierre has just informed me that Kenton Philip is currently still under investigation. So that one we can answer for you. He has that information.
Very well.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre. That's good, Mr. Pierre. Excellent.
Very well. Yes, so on this note, I invite closing comments from our new head of the Criminal Investigations Department, Superintendent Pierre.
I just want to reiterate the importance and the relevance of the collaborative effort in moving the needle of the number of incidents of crime downwards. I say collaborative because on the inside, I've mentioned the need for the interoperability of the various units. I also will want to embrace the contributions from the general public and see how we can work together to reduce the level of violence in our communities. We want to encourage persons to take back our communities in terms of not vigilante, but ensuring that we contribute to the safety and security of our community. You see something, you report it. You do not sit on the information, but you see, you bring it to the attention of individual law enforcement, and we action it so that we can make this place safer I thank you and look forward to the support to ensure that my stint at the CID is a successful one, and I give you assurance that I will be available, so available that I can see. You can reach me at 407-3725. 407-3725. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pierre. You expect a lot of calls coming in on that private number. ACP Cohen, closing comments.
Thank you very much, Corporal McLean. As we continue to arrest the issue of rising crime in Grenada, I want to give the assurance to the public that we are doing everything that we can. Our second quarter statistics in 2023 is not alarming. We have an increase of 4.3% in reported crimes in January to June 2023 as opposed to 2022. Most of these increases we have seen in property crimes and we have seen in minor offenses. We have already made the point that we have seen some increases in firearms related issues and also in the homicide that we have just spoke about. I am comfortable that the RGPF, with the help of the public that we serve, is able to maintain the peace and tranquility and safety of Grenada. We often say tourism is everybody's business. We now have to start saying crime and criminality must be the business of every Grenadian, Carriaconians, and Petit Martinicans as we work to serve you and ensure that we keep Grenada safe. In closing, I want to also say this. We have moved the focus a bit forward in terms of our ability to fight crime. We have been putting a lot of emphasis on technology. Technology have been helping us in ways that you probably might not know or even imagine. But technology is a lot of what we do now and it continues to assist greatly in ensuring that we stay ahead of criminal activities and get ahead of the curve. Mr. Pierre re-entrance into CID is testimony of the forward thinking of the leadership of the RGPF in terms of how flexible it is for us to adjust our security posturing to address what we're currently seeing. And as I've indicated, we've seen some results and we continue to ensure that we get the results that not only we want, but that Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique would like to see the RGPF get. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, ACP Cohen, and also a very special thank you to members of the media, especially members of the Government Information Service. They facilitated us on very short notice, and we are truly appreciative of all their sacrifices this morning. We are also grateful to all listeners and viewers for being so studious with us here this morning. So thank you very much. 1 minute, please.
It would be remiss of me if we end this program. I'm sorry to have to cut Mrs. Macklin, who was ending, but it would be remiss of me if I do not recognize the contribution and leadership given to the criminal investigation by ASB Hall, a man who never tires, a man whose visionary leadership has brought tremendous success to the CID. And people are asking the question, the fact that Mr. Pierre is coming back, what has happened to Mr. Hall? All Mr. Pierre has come to do is to strengthen what is already there and not to outdo or replace Mr. Hall's effort. As we speak now, Mr. Hall is in the field. And Mr. Hall is leading the charge in terms of arresting some of the situation that we are grappling with at this moment. I cannot end this program without saying thanks to him, thanks to the staff who work with him, thanks to the entire outfit of the Criminal Investigation Department and the support that they would have had from other departments and stations within the RGPF. Mr. Hall is well and alive. He is leading the charge, and his success is the success of the RGPF. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Cohen. Indeed, a fitting tribute to close off on our program this morning. So we just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us once again. Until next time.